Hello, welcome back to another edition of the Shankly Gates Podcast. I'm David Brindle. Joining me today is Dan Clubb. Dan, good afternoon. Yeah, still good afternoon. Are we saying 4:00 afternoon?
Yeah, definitely afternoon, mate. Especially on a Sunday.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, is 5:00 you cut off for evening or 6?
I think 5:00 midweek is my cut off, but
Okay.
I think the Sunday afternoon stretches till about 6.
Okay, fair dues, mate. Fair dues. I like that. I do like that. It's always a weird one, that, so I just thought I'd ask. But first of all, mate, how are you? How's your weekend been?
Yes, mate. Yeah, good. Busy actually, but can't complain. Footy's gone relatively well for obvious reasons. But yeah, good, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Really good. It's always nice when that early kickoff can sometimes be dodgy, can't it? Because if that early kickoff doesn't go your way, that's your weekend over. Whereas when it does go your way, it's just so much more less stressful, less anxious, just enjoyable. Obviously, we are going to talk about Saturday's game against Brighton. We will also look at the midweek fixture away at Arsenal, and of course, we'll look ahead to next weekend's FA Cup clash away at Nottingham Forest, the first meeting since 1999 between two very old rivals. So we'll get into all that, and as ever, if you'd like to put any comments in below, feel free, and we'll get you involved in the show. Dan, let's talk about Saturday. A relatively, ultimately routine victory, I thought. I don't know what you thought of it.
Yeah, I think routine is the word, isn't it, at the end? I wasn't sure it was routine at moments throughout the game, if I'm going to be honest. I thought, particularly first 15, 20 minutes, I think they were the better side. They got going, they got into their stride much quicker than we did. But at the same time, I actually thought about this morning. We were caught sort of renowned under Klopp in the early days for making these fast starts and really getting at teams. And we've kind of reversed that now. It seems to take us a little while to get into games. And I don't know if it's sussing teams out or what it is, but listen, if it works, it works. But yeah, listen, professional performance, clean sheet, never really in doubt. So yeah, we move on.
Yeah, I don't think they ever really tested us seriously. I know, was it Morpay had that chance early on that went flash wide from outside the area, but even then,
they had a Trossard one, didn't they, which he blazed over.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, really speaking, another performance, just to say, whereby I felt like it in midweek with the Inter Milan one as well. We had gears to go through, and it feels like we're playing within ourselves at times, which bodes really well, because if you can win games like that with what's to come, that's good news.
Yeah, a lot of people have said Liverpool didn't get out of third gear. Like, it was very... Do you know what it reminded me of? Like a pre-season game where it wasn't really... It's mad because obviously we're chasing the title. It never really felt like it was ever endangered and it was just going to be comfortable, and it was. The weirdest goal I've ever seen scored at a game was Luis Diaz's goal, because the ball goes in and nobody celebrates in Liverpool end. It was completely dead. Like, we didn't know what had gone on, and obviously Diaz has been clattered. The goal gets given, and the whole double jeopardy thing of Sanchez doesn't get sent off. Would you have preferred to see Sanchez get sent off and get a penalty, or were you just okay with the goal and obviously grateful that Luis Diaz was fine?
Yeah, the latter of them options, because you just want the goal. I mean, penalties are great and what have you, but there's always that chance that it gets missed. And obviously, as it turned out, the goal proved to be crucial because the entire game flipped on its head from that point on. So yeah, I just took the goal, and obviously Diaz being okay is my preferred option. However, how he's not been sent off as well is beyond me, because double jeopardy only works in terms of if he just tripped up in the box and the ball happens to go in, then that's fine. Don't penalise him because he's just tripped him up. But if you knee someone on the head in midair and the goal goes in, you're still allowed to punish that keeper, you know. And it very much reminded me in different circumstances of the Pickford incident, which they obviously got wrong, and they since admitted they got wrong. Just because it was offside doesn't mean you can tackle someone knee high, and this was similar in a sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he didn't even get booked, did he? Am I right in saying
nothing,
he didn't get a yellow card, which is horrendous considering, as you say, he's nearly took his head off. I don't know what he was thinking, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, fair argument, that, to be fair. My only thing was the double jeopardy thing. He won't send them off because of the goal. But when you put it like that, mate, I think you're spot on. Liverpool now are obviously the only unbeaten team in the Premier League in 2022. Obviously, Newcastle have been beaten earlier on by Chelsea. First of all, how monumental do you think that's been for Liverpool in terms of like getting back in the title race and putting a good run of fixtures together?
Oh, massive, absolutely massive. I think we were 14 points behind, weren't we, not so long ago? And the run we've been on, we had that little blip in midweek, but at the same time, we got through the tie, and Klopp said, if you're going to lose a game, they're the ones to lose, aren't they? Whereby it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we've been outstanding since the turn of the year. Being honest, I'm one of the more positive Liverpool fans you'll find, but I wasn't really backing us to get in the title race because I think performances didn't merit that. I thought Leicester in particular around Christmas time was a really poor performance, but it does look like we've learned from some of the issues we had early season. I think Brentford was a problem, West Ham was a problem, and we're putting them to bed as the season goes on. So yeah, listen, since the turn of the year, absolutely outstanding. And Luis Diaz has only added to that, hasn't he? He's been brilliant.
Yeah, I think Carragher tweeted, didn't he, saying thank God for Daniel Levy and Tottenham putting a bid in for him, because obviously we wouldn't have got him till the summer. So fair play. He's absolutely phenomenal. The performances, even yesterday, he's just such a live wire. He wants to run off the ball. He wants to be direct and go at people. And he looks absolutely fuming with himself as well when he doesn't. There's a moment there in the second half where he missed the chance to lay someone up, or if he misses a shot, and he's just raging with himself. I love it. So yeah, fair play to that. And in terms of looking forward, then how long can this unbeaten run go on for?
I mean, hopefully for the end of the season would be nice. I honestly believe that this week coming up, which obviously we're going to speak about in a minute, is the most pivotal week of the season. I know we play City not long from now, but if we get 3 points against Arsenal, it's all on. It's just all on. Obviously, get through the Nottingham Forest tie. At that point, that's it. Like what we're about to speak about is this season in a nutshell. If we pick up 2 wins from 2 here, nothing stops us, in my opinion. Because the City game's obviously really difficult, but it's sort of like a one-match shootout, and anything can happen. I actually fancy us to go there. But picking up wins in these next 2, in my opinion, is more difficult. So if we can do it, then let's just do it.
Yeah, and I think a lot is being made of that City game, and it's a long way away. I mean, it's less than a month away now, but it's a long way away. And even if you go there and you draw, it's still wide open.
Yeah.
And I'd probably argue as well that City, there's more pressure on them because obviously we need to sort of win to get there. But as you say, there's plenty more fixtures. They need to put us to bed there and then.
Our fixtures are half favourable as well. I think the Arsenal game is tricky coming up in midweek, and obviously they are about to play, so we don't know how they're going to get on there. But after that, I actually had a good look at our fixtures earlier on. There's some difficulty. We played Man United. That's never a nice fixture on paper, regardless of the state they're in. Everton, same could be said. Both at home. And you look at some of the more tricky games we've got, and we're at home every time. We've got Wolves left to play end of season, and we're at home. So it just looks, it's shaping up really nicely if we can win these next 2.
Yeah, we'll look ahead at them now. The only other thing I wanted to mention was the second team in Premier League history to score 2,000 goals, which is quite a nice little start, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was United, isn't it? First team, which is not a surprise given their dominance, but it's good to see, considering that we've only obviously won the league once in that time. The fact we're sort of bringing up the rear so quickly behind United just shows how there or thereabouts we've been. We've had some dark times in the Premier League, as we know. We've had some 7th place finishes and what have you, but we've always been there or thereabouts because there's other ever presence, Everton being another one in that time, and they're way off. Yeah. So it's a nice little landmark, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I've seen that before, and I was like, that's really nice. That's as I say, to be second is not great, but I'm sure we'd be first to 4,000.
Understandably, though, isn't it? Unfortunately, yeah,
100%. They were pretty dominant. Right then, let's look ahead to midweek. Obviously, down to Arsenal. Both going as well, aren't we? We'll both be there on Wednesday night.
Yes,
so that'll be a mission. The one thing I'm worried about to an extent with Arsenal is will they have revenge on their mind? Because obviously the Carabao Cup semi-final, we were talking before about Sanchez, and I meant to mention that when Xhaka gets sent off at Anfield, you sort of think, oh, well, that's us done, and it's 0-0. So you are right, by the way, in wanting the goal. Looking ahead to it, are they going to be, is Arteta just going to play them repeats of that game at the Emirates and sort of be like, let's put this right, and all right, yeah, you can't win a trophy, but you can really solidify yourself in the top 4 with a win here?
Perhaps. I'm not sure it'd be his wisest move, to be honest with you, because we were so much better than them on that night. And it wasn't necessarily our full side. Obviously, we had AFCON players missing for a kickoff. And obviously, it was our Carabao Cup team as well. So, obviously, Kelleher starting goal on that occasion for a start. So, yeah, they will want revenge, obviously. I think it is a difficult clash because they are playing well at the minute. I still have talking as a neutral football-wise, my reservations about Arsenal. I think they're good enough to get fourth. I think there's no denying that. But that fourth place is almost like, is anyone going to take it? You know what I mean? Someone has to take that. And I don't think any of them are brilliant sides, but eventually someone's going to finish fourth. And it might just be Arsenal. But the golfing class that we've seen so often, when any of those fourth place chasing sides come up against us, City and Chelsea to a certain extent, has been evident. And we've seen that with Arsenal. Because I remember when we played Arsenal in the league last time, it was all the talk was Arsenal playing really well, the form's really good, so on and so on and so on. And then we dealt with them pretty comfortably. You know what I mean? And that's how it's been quite a lot for them. So that's how I'm looking at this game, especially with what should and could be a full strength side.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next, is in terms of team selection, who are you looking at? Because you can probably say Henderson was taken off. He might get some game time in midweek. Did Salah was injured, so we'll talk about him in a sec.
Injured, yeah.
Did Mane come off as well for Jota? Was it Mane who came off for Jota?
No, Salah came off for Jota.
Salah came off for Jota. Keita came off as well, didn't he?
Keita came off for Thiago.
So you might be looking at them two coming on, or maybe even Thiago getting some more game time. It's a bit of an injury.
Yeah.
How can you sort of predict from who's finished the Brighton game, who's played 90 minutes, and obviously looking ahead to Arsenal, what do you think we're going to go for?
Yeah, the minutes are really important, I think you mentioned there, because I mentioned earlier about sort of playing games in third gear. I actually believe that's half a tactic in terms of if we can get through games and get the result we need in third gear, that saves energy moving forward, because we're going to have to do that at times this season. And rotating in terms of who's played a certain amount of minutes here and there will be really important. So I think you're right on the Henderson front. I think we really are managing his time at the minute. Same with Naby Keita, who comes off. I think he's been brilliant the past few weeks, so he could well start again against Arsenal. For me, obviously Konate hasn't played yesterday and probably won't come back. I think Matip and Van Dijk will feature. The fullbacks are a given. Alisson's a given. The forward line is where it really comes into question, because I know you want to discuss Salah, but I'm 99% certain Salah will be fine. He very often is. I think he said to Jurgen Klopp it was very much precautionary, and he was fine. So I have no issues there, really. The big one is probably Roberto Firmino, because back on the bench yesterday, didn't get on, but this is very much a game whereby I think Klopp, if he could, would play Bobby in.
Yeah, I was fully expecting him to come on against Brighton, and I was quite surprised when he never.
Mm-hmm.
Just on Salah, obviously, yeah, you know, he's mentioned to Klopp, hasn't he? He doesn't think it's serious. He doesn't think it's anything serious to worry about. But then it's not really his decision to think whether it's serious or not. From what you've seen of it, obviously you've said you think he'll be fine. Would you then risk him in midweek against Arsenal? Or would you be tempted to sort of say, let's give you the night, not off, maybe from the bench if we need you, but we won't start you just in case?
No, I'd be tempted to go with him. I'd be more tempted to go with him, yeah, in the knowledge that he is not going to start against Nottingham Forest.
Okay, so you don't think he'll start against Forest?
No.
Okay, so we'll come on to Forest team selection.
But that's why I'd throw him in against Arsenal, because I think he gets his recuperation if he needs it on the Sunday.
Okay, fair enough. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, with that one. I was slightly worried when I seen him go off, and I thought, but I mean, fingers crossed, we might be okay. Let's go for a prediction then, Dan. How do you see this game panning out?
I see it panning out similar to how the cup game went in many ways. Arsenal will compete on many fronts across the pitch, but I think that golfing class and that quality level that we are above them right now will show eventually. and I can see sort of goals in each half sort of situation and 2-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, I'd like to agree with you on that front. It always worries me when I make not a bold prediction, but a comfortable to an extent prediction against a half decent side.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going, because you think, oh, it's going to bite me and I'm there and I've got to travel home. But I think you're right. I think we are a much better side than Arsenal. It's not really that close. There is a massive gulf, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
It just all depends on, I mean, obviously it's another sort of fair distance away to travel, and it's a quick turnaround, if you like. Well, to an extent, we've done all right in terms of being early kick-off Saturday and then Wednesday night, but still, these games are coming thick and fast, which, all right, yeah, when you're winning, it doesn't really matter as much. But, yeah, I think I'll go 3-1. I think I'll go 3-1. I see them maybe getting a goal. But I'd like to think that we've got enough to see them off. Right, let's look ahead to Forest then on Sunday. It's the first meeting between the two sides, as we said at the top, since 1999. It's a hell of a long time. I remember being a kid, and Forest were obviously in the Premier League all the time from when I was like 5, maybe something like that, and onwards. It'll be a fair, tasty affair, won't it? But obviously, in the ground, the fans are all rivals. Do you think that'll cross over to the players?
No, I don't think so. I don't see it. I think Nottingham Forest are going to be well up for it, and they have been well up for it so far in the FA Cup, particularly at home. But I don't see the rivalry necessarily coming into play, because it's not an obvious rivalry, is it? I mean, you mentioned there the sort of how long it's been. It's not like the players will be in tune with what went on before. You know what I mean? Going back sort of 70s, 80s, they won't be aware of that. No one will. Who's going to be playing anyway. So I don't see it. And it's not, obviously, in terms of geography, it's not a local rivalry. So they can't even have that to call upon as players. So for me, in terms of on the pitch, it'll just be very much what will be, will be. But obviously off the pitch, there is that little bit of historic needle, if you like.
Yeah, 100%. I know the people that I go to match with are quite looking forward to going back there. Is it a potential banana skin? Because, I mean, we've talked before we come on here, they haven't lost their own since December.
Yeah.
In all competitions. They've obviously beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Leicester on the way to getting where they are. Are we staring at a potential cup shock, or do you think we'll have enough to get through?
I think we have enough to get through. And massive credit should go to Nottingham Forest for what they've achieved, particularly since the change of manager, because you mentioned the home record there. They've shot up the table, quite frankly. And obviously in that time, they've eliminated 2 Premier League sides. So massive credit to them for that. But it's similar to what you said about Arsenal, actually. It's very similar in terms of the Premier League at the minute is kind of split into different fractions in terms of you've got your good side and then there's us, City and Chelsea. And it's okay for a championship side, a very good one at that, to beat your Arsenals and your Leicesters. But then when you come up against a side like us, that's like another level up again, or 2 even perhaps. So, listen, I expect a close game. I do think there's potential for Nottingham Forest to cause us problems. Do I think there's potential for them to eliminate us? Nah, I don't. Okay. Also on that, they might have one eye on their league campaign as well. Yeah, because I'm 99% certain the playoffs are sort of, if not they're in them, they're within reach. So that's another thing, because realistically, as great as their FA Cup run has been, are they thinking, let's go and win the FA Cup? Is that something? Because Man City and Chelsea are still left in it. We're still left in it, obviously. Is Steve Cooper thinking, okay, let's win the FA Cup? Or is he thinking, we can get in the Premier League here?
Yeah. That's the biggest goal for them, isn't it? To get back in the big time. I'm just looking here, the 9th. But they are 2 points off 6th with a game in hand. So effectively, they're in the top 6.
They could be in the playoffs,
They win that game in hand.
And the games in the Championship, you talk about games for us coming thick and fast. The Championship is relentless. Yeah, absolutely relentless. So they're almost bound to have a game either this midweek or the one after. So they're in that situation as well. They can't rest up and go gung-ho for Liverpool. They've got a playoff chase to pursue, and this Liverpool game against us in between. Yeah. So it's one of them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They've actually got I think they've got QPR on Wednesday night as well. So, I mean, that's worked out quite nicely, to be fair. We both play Wednesday night. Yeah. I think they played 3 o'clock Saturday. So there's no real argument there of like, not having enough time to prepare and things like that. Let's just give a quick mention as well to Steve Cooper, obviously former Liverpool, we said coach, and I think he was under 18s or under 23s manager. He's done a hell of a job there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Really transformed them impressively, actually. And it's interesting because I think a lot of criticism was labelled at Cooper earlier on when he went into management necessarily, because you obviously mentioned the word coach there, and I think that's what people viewed him as. I think he's been involved in England setups as well, hasn't he? Very much as a coach, and it's a difficult transition to make. Sometimes you can be an excellent coach and not necessarily an excellent manager, and you need to strike that balance. And I think he's obviously doing it right now because, like I say, under Chris Hughton it was previously, wasn't it, at Forest? He got sacked for a reason. They were looking at potentially relegation candidates, certainly not playoff candidates. So credit should go to Cooper. And obviously it's good to see, it's same with Neil Critchley at Blackpool. It's good to see former people associated with the club doing well, especially in Cooper's case, whereby they have had that little bit of criticism, because being both is really difficult. I mean, Klopp's obviously a brilliant manager and obviously a world-class coach, but I would hasten to suggest that like a lot of the coaching goes on with his staff, and he is a manager. You can be, sometimes people are labelled as first team coach or manager, and they are different roles. So getting the balance right is really impressive, and Cooper's obviously doing that now.
Yeah, fair play to him. I'm just looking here. He's been in charge since late September. They've played 30 games during that time. He's won 17 of them. Yeah, so nearly 56%,
and
57%.
And like I say, I can imagine. I know they were absolutely stinking the place out before they sacked Houghton, so it's a big transformation.
Definitely, and who's the guy they had before that as well? Because he sort of got them close, and then he fell off a cliff.
Yeah,
as well, didn't he, form-wise?
But he was like Moroccan, I think.
He was. I can't remember his name for the life.
His name's not going to like a Saeed Ben Rama.
Let's have a look.
And I'm pretty sure his surname began with a B, and it was quite long.
It's going to take me a while to find this. Oh yeah, managers. Yeah, managers. Here we go. Sabri Lamouchi.
Sabri. I knew there was a big in there, not Saeed.
Sabri Lamouchi. Yeah.
He did a good job.
Right. Yeah, and then obviously that last season it just went all pear-shaped, didn't it? And it was everywhere. So fair play to Steve Cooper. We kind of danced around the team selection bit before when you said you don't think Salah will play. Are you expecting a stereotypical FA Cup Liverpool team? Kelleher back in goal, some rotation throughout. Is that what you're expecting?
Yeah, it is. I think certainly Kelleher in goal. I think that's a given. For me, I just imagine it. So obviously we go back to the Shrewsbury game, and then we look at the Cardiff game, and then we look at the Norwich game. In the Cup, in the FA Cup, they've kind of got stronger each time, and that's what I can envisage this side being, because although Forest obviously in the league below Norwich, in terms of the quality we need to put out there because of the round of the Cup, I think it'll go up a level again. And obviously a lot depends on what happens in midweek against Arsenal in terms of fitness and availability. But all being well, as things stand, we're going to have everybody available for Nottingham Forest next Sunday. So we can afford to keep a very strong side whilst rotating, because, I mean, 5 forwards there, the likelihood is that someone like a Jota might not even feature at Arsenal, or a Mane might even feature, or even Diaz. So one of them 3 is bound to start against Nottingham Forest, which is a frightening proposition for them. And the same could be said for the midfield as well. You're probably looking at your Milners. Curtis Jones hasn't played a lot. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain hasn't played a lot. Konate's been out for a short while. Like I said, Tsimikas is probably the only other sort of nailed on, you will start in the FA Cup, isn't he? Him and Kelleher are the 2. And outside of that, I think it'll very much be based on minutes.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Klopp gets a little bit of stick sometimes in the past when he's been in the FA Cup and he's not played stronger teams and things like that. I'm looking back to like when we played Wolves, for example, things like that. And people always say, he throws the cup away. And I don't want him to be accused of doing that against Forest, because you are one step away from Wembley. I know it's stupid that the semi-finals at Wembley, but you are one step away from a Wembley day out in a semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
But I do also have faith that he'll pick the team that he thinks will win the game. So, we will see the likes of probably Curtis Jones, depending on if he plays midweek. We will see the likes of Joe Gomez probably come in, maybe even right back to give Trent a rest.
Yeah.
You nailed on to see Kelleher, nailed on to see Tsimikas. Minamino and Origi might come in, things like that.
We haven't seen much of Harvey Elliott, have we, since he
He's another one, isn't he? Yeah.
Burst back onto the scene after his injuries. But he's been missing for a few, not in a negative way.
No.
But Klopp's kind of gone, like, there's your bit of football, you're back now, and then dragged him away again, which is really clever in many ways. But this could be another one for him.
I wonder if he's sort of given the game time early on, as you say, and then sort of gone, oh, you know what, we need to protect him a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he's good enough. I love Henderson. He's good on that right-hand side, but that role of how we've evolved on this right-hand side, that little triangle we've got, Elliott just does that role perfectly. He might not be as clever tactically, structurally, and also defensively, but going forward, that is perfect for Elliott. He just gets involved and he loves it. So I would like to see a little bit more of him, but I think they're very, very cautious with him. He's a young lad, isn't he? He's just getting back from a pretty serious injury. So let's see how it goes. Dan, let's wrap up with a prediction for the Nottingham Forest game. Are we off to Wembley once again?
I think we are. Yeah, I think we are. Like I say, take absolutely nothing away from Nottingham Forest and what Steve Cooper's done there, and they're running the FA Cup so far. Like I say, if anything, I'd half like them to do well against somebody else. Like if they were in a different section of the draw towards, you'd be like, okay, yes, I'll go through. But for me, this will just be one step too far in terms of the cup and quality. And I think we get through. I think I'll go for 3-0 on this occasion. Particularly because I do believe they might just have one eye elsewhere when they go behind in the game. Yeah,
potentially. And they'd be right too, because they're going to make a fair few quid as well off us going there. It's on the telly. It's a bit of a, they'll sell out. The Nottingham Forest fans will want to go and face Liverpool and things like that. So it's a nice little money spinner for them. Yeah, I think as you say, they're more interested in getting up in the playoffs. And I don't know where. Of course they should. Yeah, of course they should. And I don't know whether it'll be. I don't know. I haven't checked all the other fixtures. I don't know whether beating QPR means that they go in the top 6. Or I don't know if that's the game in hand. I'm not sure, but I think they will have one eye. But I think they might score. I think we've, aside from against Brighton, I think we against Inter, obviously they scored. In Norwich at home, even they scored. Even the Carabao Cup final, we were a bit suspect defensively and not really at our best. Like not bad, but not at our best. And I think if we go into that atmosphere and it's loud, I think Forest might score. So I'm going to go 4-2 Liverpool. I think. Wow. I think it might be. Yeah, I think it might be a bit of an interesting game. I think they'll score, then we'll score 2 or 3, then they'll score, and then we'll wrap it up. Very, very specific prediction.
Classic.
Yeah, proper FA Cup classic. Yeah, that'd be good. And then obviously another trip to Wembley, mate. We'll look forward to that, the 16th or 17th of April. Dan, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Much appreciated.
No problem.
Go and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'm sure I'll catch you again soon. Probably next Monday now, won't it?
Sunday night game, isn't it?
Quite late, isn't it? So we'll probably be back on Monday. Thank you for watching and listening, and we will see you all soon.